Hey y'all, and welcome to this week's episode of AfroPicks. I'm your host, Jay Amante, and the stories this week have national significance, but the issues go beyond what is happening in Philly, even though they are happening in Philly. So the first story is one part of the saga of the Bill Cosby sexual assault case. So his lawyers are now claiming that prosecutors withheld information that Cosby could have used to defend himself against his charges. One piece of evidence is an interview where a colleague of Andrea Constead, she used to work at Temple, where Constead said in the interview that Bill Cosby didn't sexually assault her and that she could just make up charges to get money and sue. And another piece of evidence that they are claiming was not included in the evidence is that they had an interview with Marguerite Jackson, who was a prosecutor during one of his trials, and they said that detectives destroyed evidence from that interview with Jackson. So now the Cosby's lawyers are asking for the case to be thrown out due to the mishandling of evidence and evidence supposedly not being included as before mentioned. So here we are again in this place where Bill Cosby, even though it's on record that he's drugged women, he's admitted to drugging women, he's admitted to having sex with women while they were under the influence of drugs that he gave them years ago, where he admits this. He's going out of his way, him and his team are going out of their way to prove that he didn't rape these women, which at this point, if 60 plus women are coming out and accusing you of doing the exact same thing to them, there has to be some truth in that. There has to be some validity in that, because these women have been saying these things for years. Like, no one's going to necessarily, well, not everybody, but like not everyone's going to continue on with a lie for years and years to just get at one person, especially when it's evidence. There is documentation saying that he raped women, that he gave women drugs to knock them out. So I don't understand at this point why his team is trying to beat this case. I don't understand. I really don't understand, as someone on the outside looking in, and also from a journalistic perspective. You have to have all the facts out, all the evidence in a trial, so that you can tell, so that the judge and the jury and everyone who's involved in the case has a clear understanding of what's going on. And the clear understanding is that there's evidence that he's raped women. I just don't see the point at this, especially in this climate of Me Too and women trying to speak out more. I don't see why he's trying to stop this case. Like, it's evidence, it's there. There's hard evidence of him admitting to doing these things. So I'm just flustered at this point, just thinking about this case and how it's continuing on and how his team is going out of their way to get him off. But like, it's evidence, it's there. Like, I just don't understand. It's there. Like, it's right there. It's there. It's not a point. It's not necessarily a place of like, did he actually do these things or not? It's a point of who exactly did he do these things to and where. So that's just another part in this continuing story of Bill Cosby. He was recently seen around Philly. He performed a show in Germantown, a comedy routine. He was at a South Philly restaurant called the Veranda a few weeks ago because his jurors, they're retrying his case around this area, so his jurors are most likely going to be from Philly. So now he's coming back and trying to increase his public appeal in the city, which I think personally only is disgusting, especially with the evidence of what he's done, but that's just the way of his team, that's just the way of PR and the people around him to protect his image. And at this point, I just don't see the point. Normally I don't get flustered over these types of things, but I just don't see the point anymore. So continuing on from that spiel and that story, I want to focus on another story that's more positive. So the national rate of black male educators in the United States is about 2%. So Bethune Elementary School in North Philly, which has a student body of 81% African American students, they have on their teaching staff makes up about 31% of black males on their teaching staff. And I think that this is very, 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 very important, especially in a school that is majority black, that there are educators that look like the students, that can relate to the student in the way that a white professor or a white teacher can't. It's been proven, there is evidence of black students in elementary schools and high schools and in universities doing better with black professors and black teachers, because like I said, there's an understanding that, especially in academia, there's a better understanding of the material, the cultural aspect, like things that other professors can't do. And it's also really amazing because the 31 percentage is 10 times the average. So there's an increase of black male teachers in this specific school, and that increase can also go into other cities and other schools and eventually improve and increase to having more black male teachers and black female. So it's very important that we have more educators that are black, because a lot of the students in city public schools are black or Latina. So we need more minority. It's just a need. It's a need. It's something that we have to better ourselves as a race and as a society. We just need those people in place teaching our youth, and that it's very important. And I'm very happy that Bethune Elementary School is starting to set the precedent. So I'm really happy. The last story is another crime story. So Edward Archer is being accused of ambushing a Philadelphia police officer and trying to murder him in the name of ISIS. So on last Thursday, he went to trial for attempted murder, and he told a judge that he wouldn't plead to anyone except for Allah. So what had happened was that Archer, he was in West Philly and shot Officer Jesse Hartnett while he was in his police cruiser. He fired 13 bullets. 3 shattered his bones and damaged nerves in Hartnett's arm, and he also required multiple surgeries after the shooting. One point that I want to make in this case, in this story, and not as a means to excuse anyone's actions or to justify what Archer did, the point that I want to make is completely separate from that. But the point that I want to make is that one African American Muslim person is not representative of the entire African American Muslim community in Philadelphia. That's one clear distinction that I would like to make, because as black people in the media, if one person does something, that person is considered a representation of all of us, and that's not true. And that also goes into effect with the different nuances and multiplicities of black, such as African American and being Muslim. I I really just wanted to make that distinction because I feel that when you read this case and you read the context of this case and Archer claiming that it was in the name of ISIS, that people think, oh, well, all Black Philadelphia Muslims believe in ISIS and all Muslims believe in ISIS, and no, it's just one person's act that just so happened to be associated with his, which I don't think should be done. So I just wanted to make that clear. It doesn't excuse his actions. It doesn't justify anything that or have alleged to have done, because he's still not accused. He's still not tried or charged for the crime that he allegedly committed. So, as we do at the end of every show, we highlight the organizations that are promoting Black excellence. So, Temple's National Pan-Hellenic Council held a return of the skate party on January 26th, so it was a Friday, at the Millennium Skate World in Camden, New Jersey. All the Black Greek organizations came together, and people came in buses, and it was a good time. So the Haitian Student Organization and the Organization of African Students held a program called Dear Mr. President, a discussion on President Trump's recent remark on the 25th, so that Thursday. So, real quickly, I know this isn't how the format goes, but real quickly, just to address Donald Trump's comments on African countries and the Caribbean countries that he defined as places where you shouldn't be. I won't use the expletive. As a person whose family is countries in Africa, and as a person who is also of Caribbean descent, his comments are very inaccurate. We all know that they're inaccurate. At this point, Trump is a shock jockey in the same way of Howard Stern, in the same way of Ann Coulter. He's just reactive. He just reacts to things because he wants to. It's not indicative of anything based in any evidence or any logical assumption. It's just, I say what I want when I want. And that's been the tone of white privilege, white male privilege for forever. Honestly, I say what I want. I do what I want. So I understand people being upset and being disheartened by his comments, but we are the United States. This is the person that people elected into office, and not on the fault of the African American community, but this is what we are in the numbers of the millions of white people to African Americans in this country. In the voting process, we were outnumbered by people who wanted to keep a racist rhetoric in the White House, which was started off the backs of slaves, if we're going to be real. And his comments are to be expected, is my point. They're expected. That those are his comments. So the next organization is Campus Curls. So Campus Curls is having a members-only styling party mixer in 217 AB on January 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. So if you aren't a member, you should probably pay your dues and go to their mixer and see about different hair products. That's all the time that we have for this week, but look out on WHIP's website for the next episode. As you know, I'm Jay Montague, and remember to keep your hair high but your hand held higher.